You know, in years past, there's never really been a strategy for buying scan tools.
No, they haven't been.
You know, what we've experienced is that the customer would look at, number one, the cost of the tool.
That's correct.
Number two, the relationship they had with their salesperson.
If they had a good relationship, yes.
And then the third was the actual coverage of the vehicle.
Yes.
Well, with Bosch, we have decided to try to iron out what's really happening in the industry. With the choices of scan tools today, that's a big decision. Along with that, we need a new buying strategy. The new buying strategy, Jim, is going to start more not with the cost, the actual vehicle coverage.
Yeah, we have to fix cars in the bay. We have to have the coverage for the cars we're working on.
Absolutely. The cars have changed so dramatically, especially in the last 10 years, as you know.
Correct.
And the other problem that's happened in the industry, what about all the scan tools that are out there? I don't know which one fits me.
Right, or your needs or the coverage that you need to do or the cars you're working on, because sometimes you might have to buy one scan tool and another one won't get the job done. You got to worry about that now.
Exactly. So what we've decided to do is we're going to go through and we're going to tell you exactly which one of our tools does what in the field for its price point. And what you're going to learn tonight is very important because there's not one tool that will do it all today.
Not at all.
Would you agree?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. So when we talk about price point, we're going to do exactly that, Jim. Let's talk about the most basic tool to the most high-end tool that they could own today. What do you think?
That's a great idea.
So let's go ahead and show you one more time the equipment that we're going to display to you. And again, we'll be talking about price points. We're going to be talking about actual system coverage, what these tools can do to enhance your shop.
We're in the shop right now and we have a 2011 Ford Edge that we have a 3.5 liter engine in it. We have set a code in the system so we can show you what a code reader will do. Now the code reader would be the first tool of choice that some technicians would use when the light is on. It can access the code and also allow you to erase the code. Cannot access the freeze frame information or the PIDs, which is a parameter identification, or the sensor information like your O2 sensor information or your switch status. But what it can do is just give you codes and you're going to be able to erase them. So what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to take the readings off this particular vehicle. This is the 3108N, which is our inexpensive code reader. It's a limited scan tool access. You can do one data stream PID at a time. So we're going to go ahead and hook up to the vehicle. Now we hooked up to the DCL, and the next thing we're going to do is look for codes. And we see it has codes on the machine, so we just go ahead and hit enter, and the codes will come up. Now this tool is a little bit different than most of the code readers out there. It actually gives you a code description. If we go down, it will give you the second code. So there's two codes set in the system. The next thing that, if we were looking at this, because it's beyond the code reader, we would actually back up and we would go down, and now we can look at live data. We look at live data, we will get one PID at a time, a parameter, a sensor information. So we can go down and look at one item at a time going down on our tool. So this is just beyond what a code reader will do. It gives you code descriptions. It also gives you one PID data stream that you can look at. Okay, in summary of what we just covered, this is one of the tools that a lot of technicians use. They use a code reader to get access to the information when the light's on. The code reader can only give you the code and allow you to erase code. Cannot give you any information beyond that. So it's only going to be used to access the code and information. So again, this is one of the tools that some shops use, but it's not always the best tool for doing diagnosis. Now we've seen what a code reader can do. Now we're going to move up to the entry-level scan tool. Doc, can you bring the entry-level scan tool? The 3111 is what we're going to use. It's from OTC. This tool you might see in some of the shops out there, and you also might see it in some of the parts stores. The big thing about it is this is beyond the code reader because it gives us codes plus it gives us data. It also accesses the ABS information on a vehicle. This is the entry-level tool that you might see out in the field. You might see in your parts house. It would be maybe on the wall, maybe not this particular configuration, but you'll see something like it. And what this thing does is used by the do-it-yourselfers or the entry-level technician. Now, the big thing about it is it lacks bi-directional control. It will give you data, it will give you information. This one particular one will allow you to graph one PID at a time, which is really unique. This gets you information you need, but this is still an entry-level tool. It's a quick access tool that the service writer or the guys doing the triage diagnostics might take. We can access this in the bay, or you might want to go outside when a customer comes in and grab the information off the car to see if you need to bring it in and access a more professional level tool. Now we're going to go ahead and hook up to the DLC, the Diagnostic Communication Link, and pull data off this vehicle and the codes. Now we're going to access information and codes on this particular vehicle. First thing we have, it says Vehicle Diagnostics on the tool. If we push enter, when it comes up, it'll say it's working. What it's going to do is go out, and I'm going to use Global OBD2, so I'm going to scroll up and use Global OBD2. Now, the reason you do it, we have a code on, so we want to look at the Global OBD2 information first. We push enter. First thing it says is to turn the key off for 10 seconds. Well, the key has been off. Put the key in, and I'm going to turn the vehicle on, and we're going to push enter. Now, and it says, first thing it's going to tell you, not all the IM monitors have run. Notice this is different than what a code reader does. It tells me if the monitors have been run on this vehicle. If I hit enter to continue, it will go for working. It will find the information. If it scrolls down, it tells me which monitors have run and which haven't run on a particular vehicle. If I scroll down and keep on going down on this particular tool, the next thing it will do for me, it will read the codes. So if I look at, I've got a P0102 code, and it gives me a code description. If I scroll down again, it's going to give me the 113 code. So I have the codes that came up, real easy information. Now I'm going to keep on scrolling down, and it says code summary. There are 2 codes in the system. Now, if I want to, I can hit back on this particular tool, and I can go into the IM monitor, see which one is there. I can read codes, erase codes. I can do the MIL status if you see on it. If you scroll down there, it says there's a state OBD2, but I want to scroll down to live data, because we were talking about live data on the code reader, or the tool we used before. It only gave us one line of data. If I push enter on this one, it will go out and it will do up here a 112 PID search. Now again, this tool is limited to how many PIDs it can kick into it. A Ford product might have 400 different individual parameters that you might want to look at. So I'm going to look at the entire list, which this one I'm going to hit it in. And if you notice, I have a lot more information on this particular tool. Now, if I scroll down, anything I can, there's certain data. If I look at coolant and I look at inlet air temp, we can look at fuel trim, we can look at all kinds of information on this. This makes it a little bit easier. The other thing is on certain PIDs up here, if I want to, I can actually, let's go back up to the TPS, and if I push enter on the TPS, it's going to access the information. We'll see if this works. And it's going to give me a graph. And if I put my foot down to the floor, we'll see the TPS sensor change. So I have ability to graph one PID at a time, but at least it gives me a little bit more information than we had before. If I hit back, it takes me out the data stream. The other unique thing about this tool, if I hit back again and I hit back out, I can go back out to the main screen on it. And if I go to Vehicle Diagnostics, I can also push enter. And if I look at it, it says domestic vehicles, I can push enter on that one. And again, it will come up with a year. Now, this one only goes to 2008, so I'm limited. That's the other thing that you will run into on these inexpensive scan tools. They will not always support all the years, but it only goes to 2008. This is a 2011. I can go in here and look at data, but it might not be correct. So that's why you would want to have a professional level scan tool to be able to update it to get the information you need on the vehicles you're working on. All right. We also want to look at the button in the middle, the big blue button that says Code Connect. This is a feature of the tool. It's powerful. It will actually give you the information on the most common fixes for the code on the tool. So if you pull up a code, you hit Code Connect, and it will tell you the most common fixes that's been done from the Genisys database. It saves you time, helps you out making yourself more productive in the shop. The other thing is, who would buy this tool? This might be a good tool for the student. It might be a good tool for a tool truck driver who might want to use this to access codes on the road. You're also going to take this tool and use it for more information than you would do from a code reader, so keep this in mind. It's a step up. This is one of the most powerful tools for the dollar that you can get. It's about $350 and less. This happens to be one of my favorite tools. I usually keep one of these tools sitting underneath my front seat so I can access information on the road when I need to. So you might want to put one of these tools in your toolbox for diagnosis. Now we're moving over to the professional level of scan tools. This is the one you're probably going to buy from your tool and equipment specialist at your parts chain or your tool truck driver. And the other thing about it is this tool is going to be designed for the shop technician and the owner, or a really good do-it-yourselfer. And the thing about it is we're going to have bi-directional capability with this tool that we didn't have in the first tool that we looked at. We're also going to have the ability to do enhanced data stream. Enhanced data stream is licensed information from the OEM, so that's more in-depth information we're going to have on the tool. We're also going to have the ability to update the tool and be able to do repair information that's in the tool for to help you out in your diagnosis, similar to the Code Connect, but beyond that with more information. And we have the graphing capability and record information so we can do long recordings for drive tests if we need to. Now we're going to look at the workhorse that we've had for years. This is Genisys Evo. We've had this out in the field for quite a few years. This is one of the tools that I enjoy using. But I've noticed a lot of technicians don't know about a couple of quick features that we have. If you hold the menu button down and then power the tool up, let it beep twice and let up on your buttons. When you do that, the tool will boot into Global OBD2. Now, if it boots up in a Global OBD2, I now have a code reader, but I have beyond the code reader because I get the codes real quickly. Okay, on this screen, it's going to ask you for the cables you're going to use. Most of the time, you're going to use a Global OBD2 cable, which is easy access. So we're going to push enter. When we push enter on the tool, it will go up and it will access the protocol search. It will go up and pull the readiness status, which is mode 1 of the 9 modes or the 10 modes of OBD2. And it also will pull our codes, the pending codes and the stored codes. So if you notice, it comes up and it says the readiness monitors. If we scroll down, it shows you the codes, shows our pending codes. And then if you hit exit on this, or you push enter on, if you push enter on this particular screen, it will take you back out to this menu, which means I can do an all system DTC scan. I can look at the data stream if I want to, look at my long-term, short-term fuel trim if I have a fuel-related code. I can actually look at my mode 6 information, my mode 9 information. We can look at the information for mode 9 for VINs. We can look at mode 6 for the monitor status. So it gives you real quick access for information beyond what a code reader will do and a little bit beyond what the entry-level scan tool will do for us. Now we're going to look at some of the enhanced features of the scan tool. We have a VGA output, which allows you to project it to the screen or project it to a projector, so it allows you access so you can teach with the tool. One of the first things we want to look at is scan diagnostics. Also look at, we have down below on this particular screen, the TPR, so we have an ability to do the tire pressure monitoring and tire pressure sensor resets. So if we do scan diagnostics on this particular vehicle, we're going to push enter. And we have a new, this is newest software. We're going to use Diagnostic 2013. And this is a Ford, same Ford we've been working on. It's going to come up with the 5.0 telling you what level of software you're at. This is the latest level of software, and there's a couple different versions of that, but you want to make sure you have the proper software. Okay. So again, if you're looking in this screen, we have a 5.0 that came up. That means that we have the latest software in the tool. So the latest software right now available is 2013. Always remember that you need to see what new features are coming out in each year that you might keep your tool updated. So there's some neat little features I want to show you in a few seconds that you need to look at with a new update. All right, if we go to the particular model right now, we have a 2011. So I want to push enter on this one. And I'm going to scroll down to 2011. Whatever is in blue, again, whatever is in blue, that's the entry level on this particular tool. So I'm going ahead and push enter. Now we've got a Ford, and I'm going to do a truck. I think an edge is there, and edge comes up first. Again, what is in blue you can change. And we have an SE, and we go right into the PCM. If you notice, these are all the modules guys, these are all the modules I can access on this particular tool through the car. So in other words, I've got tire pressure monitoring. I might have a body control module. If you look up here, I've got a heating and ventilation, so I can do the AC. It's not just for emissions related only at this point. So there's a lot more modules I can get into to access information. We're going to go through the PCM first. And it's going to ask me for my cable again. And again, I want to reiterate, most of the time we're going to be using the global OBD2 cable for most of the newer cars. There are some cars between 96 and 98 you might have to have a different cable, but most of the time these are the cables we're going to use. So go ahead and push enter. Now, we're going to identify the controller on this particular vehicle. Now, what that means is it's going to go out and search, do a protocol search and information search to know it's communicating to the right computer. So it's identifying the controller. So that's important to look at on the tool and give it time to do that. So the next thing we're going to look at is we have code. So right now, I want to show you a couple of neat little features on the tool. So we're going to go to Diagnostic Trouble Codes. And when we push enter, you notice we have a thing called self-diagnostics. Self-diagnostics, if you're a Ford tech, a lot of times you want to do a key-on engine self-test, you do a key-on engine running test. Another thing is you want to reset the cam. A lot of times by resetting the cam, you reset the memory in the computer. That's under self-diagnostics. That wasn't available in our cheaper scan tools, so keep that in mind. Now if we hit exit back out, if we're going to read codes, takes a few seconds for this to happen. Now, when we read codes, a couple of neat little features up there. You see we have a P0102 and a 113. I have disconnected the mass airflow sensor connector. And since I've done that, I've set the code. We're using it to show you an example of codes that you might come across. Now, there's a new feature on it. If you look at the bottom, it says type or status. So we're going to go to the small key down there, or a soft key down at the bottom, and it's going to come up with, and it says there's a failure type. It tells you the type of failure you have for this code. And it gives you the information. This was not available before in this tool. So that was just on 2013 software update. So it tells you the test is completed. Once the last code was cleared, they have all the information on it. This is a neat little feature that's there. It gives you more detailed information on how that code was set and the status of that particular code. I'm going to back out, and it will be on both of those. Now, the other thing is you can save the code. You can save this into your scan tool for later access. The why I tell people to do that is because the customer comes in 2 weeks from now and he has a different code. When you tested it, those were the only codes that were set. That saves you a little bit of time, a little bit of aggravation with the customer. Now, going back to the tool, I want to hit exit right now, and I want to go back and hit exit one more time. Now, another little power feature on this tool is an all-system DTC scan. And a lot of technicians don't use this, but if you go to the all-system DTC scan and push enter on this, it's going to go out and access all the computers it has easy access to give you the codes on those particular modules. So I don't have to go to each individual module and pull the codes out. It's going to pull all the codes out at one time, which is going to save me time. The other thing is a lot of technicians don't realize that just because the light's not on doesn't mean you don't have a code or a problem with the vehicle. So if we look at the data that come back off of this test, it's still processing OEMs. It takes a bit of time. A lot of technicians use it as a break to walk around the car to see if there's anything else they can find for repair. This is the information was stored from the scan we did. And notice we have a 102 code, the 113 code. That's the OEM codes. We scroll down the OBD2 current codes. We have OBD2 pending codes. We've gone to a secondary system right now, and the secondary system on there shows a code for a communication code. That's a U code. We didn't have this particular code coming up with a code reader or inexpensive scan tools. The professional level scan tool will go out and access more modules and give you more information. So if you notice, we have a U code on communication for a particular module. Now if we go back and scroll down, again, no OEM codes for the different airbag, heating and ventilation, and all of a sudden we go to the instrument cluster, we have another U code. This would give you some information of other problems that are occurring on the car that might wants you to access more time to diagnose the car properly. You got to keep in mind that U codes sometimes affect other systems in the car. So if you have a U code that's a communication code, this takes longer. A U code can actually cause a problem in another module. So you've got to look at all the codes on the vehicle, not just the emissions related codes. Now, the next thing I want to look at is data stream. You notice before we had limited amount of PIDs that were available through the data stream. So we're going to scroll down and we get to data stream, we push enter. Now, on the screen you're going to see we have engine data 1, we have transmission data, engine data 2. We're going to just use engine data 1, push enter on it, and it's going to set the tool up for that particular amount of data that you need. And this will take a little bit of time. Okay, I've got the engine RPM up there, I've got the throttle position, intake air. I do have the accelerator pedal position sensor 1 already highlighted. So what I'm going to do right now, I'll just push down the floor with my accelerator pedal and I should be able to see a graph on the tool. And as you watch, I can actually see a graph on the tool. Now the neat other power feature of this is when the data stream's out here, I can manipulate the data stream the way I want to. So if I go over to what's called the More button, it's on this side over here, press the button, you'll see another nice little sub-menu come up. When you scroll down to that sub-menu, you'll go to a thing called Sort. When we go to Sort, it allows me to sort it by alphabetical order. If I sort it by alphabetical order, it puts everything in an order that I can find things. So if I want a B, it's going to be right in the B section. I want a P, it's right in the P section, which makes it a lot easier. So if I scroll down, a lot of guys do the scroll down like this. That's too much like work. You want to take the tool, and on the round pad in the middle, you want to go over to the right-hand side. When you go over to the right-hand side, you'll do a page down at a time. So if you look at the screen, I'm doing a page down at a time. It takes you a lot less time to go around to the tool, get around the tool. Now, the other thing is if I hit the More button again, and if I scroll down on the More button to where it says Sort, I can sort it by graph. So I have the graph PIDs up there. And the other neat little feature about the tool is that if I want to, I can go back and select certain PIDs I want to and put them at the top of the screen, make it a lot easier. So you go back to the More button one more time. And let's say I go down here and I want to, let's just back out for a second here. I'm going to scroll down. I did it the wrong way that time. If I want to come up over here, if I want the intake air temp, I just push enter on it. And you'll see that there's a little lock that will come up on it just in a few seconds. If I scroll down to a couple more, let's say I want to do the mass airflow sensor, I push enter on it, it's locked. Now, if I go to the More button one more time, and I scroll down to where it goes Sort, I will sort this by locked. And those will be at the top. Now I can actually go to the second soft key from the right hand side and I can graph each one of those items, and whatever is on the screen or whatever is locked is always recorded. So keep that in mind if you're using this tool. So that's a power feature of the tool that you might want to use. The other thing is this tool is always in record mode, so you actually can freeze the data by taking your thumb pad and hit it to the left hand side. It freezes the data and allows you to replay it, see if you've got a problem that just happened. There's a lot of power features in the tool. And at this point, I'm going to hit exit. And we're going to hit exit out of data stream. Those are just a couple of little features you can use with the tool. And we're going to come back up to our main menu. Now, the next thing I want to look at is special tests. When we go to special tests, we press enter on a special test. And you've got other tests, transmission. I'm going to scroll down to the fan test. These are bi-directional tests. So if I push enter on that, we have, it says commanded. I'm going to push enter. And it will load up a special test file. And it tells you parameters. Now, it's telling me right now the engine must not be running. So those are the setup features you need on the tool. You want the engine not running for the next test, and then you go ahead and push enter. And it sets the screen up. Now, there's a soft key on the right-hand side, and that button over there will start the test. So at this point, if you look at it, it says increase. If I increase it, the fan should kick on in a few seconds here. If you can hear the fans running. So I have the ability to duty cycle the fan to kick it up. I also can decrease it. So you can check the fan. That's, you guys, the car is overheating. You want to make sure the fan is capable of working. So that's one of the neat little tools based in the tool. If I'm looking at it, I'm just going to hit exit right now. If you notice, I have to hit exit on the exit button, soft key. And at that point, we hit back out. Now, there's a couple other things that we can do with the tool that we're going to look at. If I scroll down on the tool and look at some of the other information, we can go back to what is called Pathfinder Troubleshooting. We used to call our software Pathfinder. Now this is our troubleshooting software. So if I push enter on that, and if you look at heading, we have, it comes to this screen, then we should go into Pathfinder Troubleshooting about 2 to 3 seconds here. All right, there we go. First thing about it is going to give me TSB references. If there's any TSB references, I can access those. We're going to look at Code Assist. That will give you information on how to fix a code from a Genisys database. It also gives you the code setting procedures and more information. So it's a real good item to use. The next thing you might want to look at, guys, is go to the next screen, is component location. It's going to tell you where the DLC is, the fuse box is located. If we scroll down to the next one, I'm doing this quickly. You go to the next one, it's PCM connector. It will actually tell you vehicle warmed up, and it's going to allow you access into the system to pick each PID to know the wiring color and the connector that it's located at on the PCM. We also have a tune-up section up here for tune-up specs. So the tune-up specification gives you access to those real quickly. Those hard to look up information you need to go to your information system to find. If we look at the other one, symptoms. Symptoms, if you go in there, you put a symptom into the car, it's going to give you what you should check for that particular system. And the last one we got is oil light reset procedures. All the technicians need to know that right now because everybody seems to put an oil light reset procedure into the vehicle. Okay, we're going to exit out of here, and I'm going to exit back out to the main screen. Now, the other power of the tool, if you notice, we have the ABS system, heated ventilation, we have the body control module, tire pressure. We can actually get in tire pressure and be able to look at the sensor data. We actually can be able to do that here. We also have another section in the tool for tire pressure if we need to. We have maintenance procedures in the tool. So if you look at it, we have all this power into the tool that wasn't available in the lower cost tools. You can see the power we have. We can diagnose cars quicker and faster with this tool. Now we're going to move on to another scan tool, and Doc will take over with the Encore.